People are staying positive and testing negative inside the Northern Beaches biosphere at the moment. The mood's pretty good. We're very hopeful today that the Premier will be able to relax some more restrictions. We saw some relaxation yesterday around pools and playgrounds. Hopefully that'll continue today. And look, we all hope that we'll be able to welcome in the new year in a much better way than we've lived the last 2020.
Well, I guess New Year's Eve celebrations is the next big decision for the Premier today. Do you believe that celebrations should go ahead under the circumstances?
Well, for me to opine on these things, given my vast knowledge of epidemiology and experience and access to the data, would be ultra-crepidarian of me. Look, these things are being done by experts that throughout this year have demonstrated in New South Wales that they have the best interests of people at heart. We've had very few lockdowns in this state. We've managed to get through this incredibly well, and I think that we have to just simply trust in the expert advice because they are the ones with access to the data and they know better than any of us what's going on.
We saw images emerge yesterday of beaches in the Northern Beaches packed with people. They're not closed and it's up to council to decide if they should be. Do you think that people should be lying on the beach when we are in the midst of this pandemic in the Northern Beaches?
Look, it's not within the spirit of what is going on here. And I have to say that I saw a lot of people out exercising yesterday on the Northern Beaches, and that's appropriate. As you correctly point out, it's up to council whether they want to open the beaches or not. People lying on the beach for extended periods of time, I think, is just not part of what the spirit of the law is. Everyone up here has done such a great job, whether it's getting tested, wearing masks, etc. It's not easy for us to be critical of people in that way, but I think council will need to review what it's doing on that front.
We also saw over the weekend a mass beach party in Bronte, another one up in Byron Bay. What is your reaction to this? Given the current situation, we've got people in lockdown in parts of Sydney. Do you think that this was appropriate?
It was a kick in the guts, I'll tell you that right now. We're up here, we had not a very, not a great Christmas. We made the best of it, that's for sure, but it wasn't a great Christmas. There are people I know who are elderly, who are on their own at this time of year. As one explained to me, I don't have many Christmases left in me, and to have to spend one of the few that I've got left on my own because of these health warnings and lockdowns, well, that's something I'll have to live with. But then to turn around and see what I understand were mostly backpackers, if not entirely backpackers. That's why the other day I called on them potentially for us to look at them, asking them to leave the country, because that's not the way we behave in Australia. That's not the way that we behave when we have a common problem that we all have to come together to fix.
So you're calling for them to be deported. Is that a likely process?
No, I don't think it's very likely. But look, there are a lot of people up here very angry about it, I have to say. If you're here in this country as a guest, in effect, of this country, and we've done an incredibly good job in 2020 of managing this pandemic, to do that was just extraordinary. And I think most Australians looked at it and just went, why would you do that? It's just and especially for people here on the Northern Beaches who've done so much in so little time to try and get this pandemic under control so that the rest of the country, including ourselves, can return to some normality. It was just unspeakably, it was a kick in the guts.
Businesses in the Northern Beaches, some are still closed. How are they coping? What are they telling you?
Well, look, businesses on the Northern Beaches, the people that I've spoken to, and I before I went into Parliament, I ran my own small business, and it's consistent with what I used to think, which was we don't really want handouts. We just want to get on with the job. We don't need help from government. We just need government to stay out of the way. So what they're saying to me up here is, look, we understand, but we want this to be short and sharp. And that's why when they see things like what happened at Bronte, it just makes them unspeakably angry, because it's like, well, we're bearing the burden of this and we're happy to do that. But when other people aren't willing to even just socially distance and keep to themselves on Christmas Day, like so many other people up here had to spend time on their own. it just really doesn't speak to a sort of common humanity that we've come to expect in Australia.
Yeah, not the ideal situation, that's for sure. Jason Falinski, just finally, what would be your message to Northern Beaches residents now, as we head into the new year?
Look, I think we remain hopeful. We'll find out today what the next 3 days looks like. Next year is going to be better than this year. We honestly believe that, and we just need to stay positive and test negative.